I just want to get your take on sort of what the Redskins have done so far in terms of putting their staff together. All things considered, how would you rate this new group?
Well, I mean, I think that it's good that Dan Snyder has stepped back and really is letting Ron Rivera do this thing his way. He's not, being, complacent and basically saying, hey, this is the staff you're going to work with, or, this is the front office you're going to work with. He's letting him go about this thing the way that he sees fit. I know a lot of people were upset that Kevin O'Connell was leaving and worried that they're losing another Sean McVay. I don't think that he was a Sean McVay type of level. I mean, smart guy, yes, but doesn't mean he's the best offensive mind in the world. Ron Rivera felt like, okay, maybe I can find somebody that his philosophies align more closely with mine, and he feels like will be better for Dwayne Haskins. And so, hey, good for him for not just, holding on for complacency's sake. And so we'll see. I think Randy Jordan, the running backs coach, is one of the few assistant coaches who's remaining. And otherwise, Rivera's bringing in a lot of his own guys. So good for him. The promotion to Kyle Smith, that guy, talented, eye for talent around the league. He talks to people, and it felt like he has a future to continue to grow. And so, we'll see how it goes. It's hard to say for sure until we see for a while, but I think, it's trending in the right direction.
I wanted to get your take on the Luke Kuechly retirement. If you look at the last year, he's the third guy, kind of big name, under 30. If you include Gronk, Andrew Luck, I'm not exactly sure on their ages, but Gronk, Andrew Luck, Kuechly, guys who still seemingly were in their prime, all step more of this.
And he is. All three of those guys were not yet 30. 29, Luck's 29. We're seeing a continuation. When we saw Chris Borland, Patrick Willis, Calvin Watkins, and now this year, in a year's span, three of the brightest young stars all walk away from the game. And guys are at a point where they don't need the game as much. They're not hanging on, miserably because they need the paycheck. They're getting their money. They're taking care of themselves. They're playing, and then they're weighing, okay, is it worth putting myself through this, or am I better off walking away? And Luke Kuechly is a guy who's had 3 concussions and 2 shoulder surgeries since 2015, and he felt like, I love this game, but I can't continue to play the way I know how, which is fast and furious, and it's time for me to go do something else. So props to him for being in that position, having been smart with his money, so that way he can do this. And I do think, I texted with a number of guys last night, and a lot of guys understood it. There are still always going to be some guys that are 30-plus that hang on and continue to play because they love the game and they love the competition and camaraderie, and they're not playing for the paycheck. They're playing for those aspects. And then we're all going to see guys who do just say, you know what, thanks, I'm good.
Especially after you made $64 million. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
We're joined by Mike Jones, NFL writer for USA Today. Give him a follow on Twitter @ByMikeJones. So no big surprise that Joe Brady gets snapped up by the Carolina Panthers to become their OC. He was the mastermind behind that LSU passing attack that was so prolific down in Baton Rouge this year. Talk about the impact he's going to have and the fact that Matt Rule is like, look, I'm going to bring you on. You're going to be the guy so I can focus on the head coaching capabilities here in Carolina. I think it's a great move.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing more of those college-type concepts in the NFL game. It's trickling up, and this is a guy, again, you could tell David Tepper wanted to do this in a forward-thinking way. I mean, he gave Matt Rule a 7-year deal, which is normally unheard of for a first-year head coach. Normally it's about 4 or 5, and he's letting him do it his way, and that's bringing more college minds with him. And so we're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see what they do about their quarterback position, but I think that you're going to see an aggressive and creative passing attack, and that's going to be the way that the league continues to trend, I believe.
By the way, is it rankling the other owners that the fact that he gave him that 7-year deal for the money that he gave him? Is it upsetting the old guard owners that aren't doing it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you did have some people who were looking at him sideways, like, what are you doing? And we're going to, we'll see if this is a thing that other coaches in the future are able to use as leverage. Kevin Stefanski got a 5-year deal, and he was hired after him. And I know the Giants, Rule had interest from them, and he told them what Carolina had offered and asked if they wanted to match it, and they're like, nah, we're good. So we'll see if guys are able to have leverage and command these type of deals, or if it's just a one-off thing. But it definitely is something. 7 years, $60 million for a first-year head coach is fantastic, and something that they really don't normally do.
Mike, what does the Ravens loss say to you? Do you have any sort of large proclamation about it, or is it simply, hey, listen, they went against the hot team that week. Everyone's struggling to stop Derrick Henry. Don't make any grand assumptions that you can't win with Lamar Jackson, that sort of thing. They won 14 games. It's been 2 years in a row where Lamar hasn't performed well in the playoffs, but, I'd say just keep chipping away at it, but I don't know. What is your take?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he's not the guy who was dropping a bunch of passes. He's not the guy who couldn't tackle Derrick Henry. He threw for 300-something yards, rushed for 120-something yards. He did have 3 turnovers. So he's got to get better. Obviously, he was going all out, and that was a career high in passing yards, a crazy stat rushing-wise. I wonder how they would have done if Mark Ingram had have been 100% healthy. And I think it tells them, okay, look, we have a guy that we believe in, and he carried us this far, but he's in his second year, and we need to continue to put more around him, improve his wide receiving unit, because, and there were struggles there. It was everybody. This is a young team. They're learning that, okay, last year it was halfway through the season. They were still running a very vanilla type of offense around him as a runner. This year they expanded. Next year he sounded like a guy who's very hungry to get back to work and continue to grow, and that's what they've got to do. Fortunately for him, Greg Roman did not get a head coaching job, so they can continue to build. But, again, they've got to continue to put more around him, improve that offensive line. Don't be silly and think, okay, Lamar can just mask every deficiency we have.